In 2023, China banned US chips from its government computers. A few months later, the US banned TikTok on federal devices. No missiles, no soldiers, just code and silicon. This isn't a Marvel movie. It's the biggest power struggle of the 21st century, and you're living in it, whether you realize it or not. From smartphones to space stations, trade deals to TV apps, the rivalry between the US and China is shaping the world you live in. But how did we get here? And who's actually winning? Let's rewind. Once upon a time, 1972, US President Richard Nixon landed in China and shook hands with Mao Zedong. It was a big deal. The US and China hadn't talked for over 20 years. That visit opened the door. By the 1990s, China was making your sneakers, your toys, and your cheap electronics. In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization, and things took off. Factories, exports, skyscrapers, China's economy exploded. The US still dominant, but slowly watching China catch up and get bolder. Fast forward to today, China is the world's factory, America is its biggest customer, and both want to be the boss of everything from 5G to outer space. And here's why you'll want to stick around. At the end of this video, we'll compare the hard facts, military power, economy, tech, influence, and show you where each country truly stands in 2025. No drama, no bias, just data. Who's stronger? You'll see the scoreboard, but the final verdict? That's up to history. The 5 fronts of global rivalry, US versus China, 2025 edition. GDP, United States, $30.34 trillion. China, $19.53 trillion. While the US still holds the top spot in nominal GDP, China's economy is growing faster, 4.6% projected in 2025 versus 2.2% for the US. Trade war escalation. In 2025, the US imposed tariffs up to 145% on Chinese goods, aiming to reduce reliance on Chinese imports. China retaliated with 125% tariffs on US imports and restricted exports of rare earth minerals, critical for various US industries. Impact on consumers. The US eliminated the de minimis exemption for packages from China, imposing tariffs of 120% or a per-package fee of $100, increasing to $200 by June 2025. This move affects low-cost e-commerce retailers and raises costs for American consumers. Bottom line, the US leads in GDP, but China's rapid growth and strategic moves in trade indicate a shifting economic landscape. But money isn't the only battlefield. The real power today? It's not just in banks, it's in bandwidth. Let's talk tech. 5G infrastructure. China boasts over 4.39 million 5G base stations, covering more than 75% of its population. The US is focusing on securing its 5G networks through initiatives like the Clean Network to exclude Chinese vendors. Artificial intelligence. China has over 250 generative AI companies, with 5 unicorns valued at over $1 billion each. The US leads in producing notable AI models, with 40 compared to China's 15. Semiconductors. The US maintains an edge in advanced chip design, while China is investing heavily to boost its domestic semiconductor industry. Here's the takeaway. China is rapidly expanding its tech infrastructure, but the US retains leadership in AI innovation and semiconductor design. And while the digital war is heating up, the physical one is still very real. Let's see what happens when power gets a little more explosive. Defense spending. United States, $916 billion. China, $296 billion. Nuclear arsenal. United States, approximately 5,244 warheads. China, estimated 500 warheads with rapid expansion plans. Military personnel. China, 2.5 million, including paramilitary forces. United States, 1.3 million active duty personnel. Let's sum it up. The US leads in defense spending and nuclear capabilities, while China has a larger military personnel count and is rapidly modernizing its forces. But some battles are being fought way above our heads, literally. Let's lift off and see who's taking the lead beyond Earth. China's space ambitions. Plans to expand the Tiangong space station by 2027 and conduct over 30 new space science missions by 2050. In 2024, China conducted 68 space launches, setting a domestic record. U.S. space initiatives. NASA's Artemis program aims to return humans to the moon and establish a sustainable presence. Private companies like SpaceX are leading in commercial space exploration and satellite deployment. Bottom line, China is making significant strides in space exploration, but the US maintains a strong presence through both governmental and private sector initiatives. Okay, rockets and warheads aside, what about culture, influence, Global reputation? Welcome to the quiet power that shapes opinions, without firing a shot. Soft power rankings. Wait, what's soft power? It's not about tanks or trade deals. Soft power is about influence through culture, values, education, media, and reputation. When other countries admire you, copy your music, or send students to your universities, that's soft power in action. United States, first place. China, second place, surpassing the UK for the first time. Cultural influence. The US still dominates global media, entertainment, tech, and higher education. China is gaining ground by funding infrastructure in developing countries and expanding its presence in international institutions. Freedom indices, press freedom. United States, 45th. China, 172nd out of 180. Internet freedom. United States, free. China, not free. Passport power. US, 7th place. Visa-free access to 187 countries. China, 62nd. Visa-free access to 85 countries. Here's what that really means. The US leads in global influence through media, culture, and values. China is catching up through strategy, investment, and scale, but its approach is much more controlled. Phew, that was a lot. But now, let's see what actually stuck. Time for a quick quiz. No pressure, just fun. What was the projected GDP growth rate for China in 2025? 2.2%, 3.4%, 4.6%, 5.8%. How many 5G base stations does China have as of 2025? 1 million, 2.7 million, 3.5 million, over 4 million. Which program aims to return humans to the moon? Tiangong, Artemis, Starlink, Long March. How many nuclear warheads does the US reportedly have in 2025? Around 2,000. Just under 3,500. Over 5,000. Around 6,500. Which country currently leads in producing advanced AI models? China. United States. All right, we've looked at numbers, rankings, rockets, and TikTok. So now comes the big one. Who's really ahead in this global face-off? Here's the truth. There's no clear winner. Not yet. The US leads in innovation, cultural influence, military strength, and global alliances. Meanwhile, China is rising fast, dominating in trade, infrastructure, population, and long-term strategic planning. But they're not chasing the same finish line. They're playing different games, with different goals, rules, and timelines. This isn't about speed, it's about who can shape the future and sustain that influence. Only time will tell. What do you think? So now it's your turn. Who do you think will be the dominant global power 5 years from now? The US or China? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. And if you liked this breakdown, hit subscribe and join us for more global stories made simple. Thanks for watching. You know it now. See you in the next video.